He's a guy who's a financial whiz. He's young. He's smart. He's from Florida, which arguably is run better than any other state in the nation. It is U.S. Representative Byron Donalds, District 19 Republican, great state of Florida. Byron, how are you? Good to see you.
Doing good, Joe. It's good to be back with you. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Stop avoiding me. So I'm watching Florida. Let me ask you something. I live in Texas. I grew up in Florida, however, as I think you know. I'm a big Miami Dolphins fan. They got to get that ship straight, by the way. Why is Florida doing it so right? Texas does it pretty well. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Florida's running it even better. Why is that? What's the special sauce?
Well, first of all, it starts with leadership. We've had great governors in our state, obviously Ron DeSantis, and then before him, Rick Scott. Second, we've had consistent conservative Republican leadership in our state for really a generation now. We're going on 30 years where Republicans have run the state government back from when we were a blue state. We had a lot of time as a purple state. Now we're a red state. And then number three, I think what you're seeing is the growth of conservative principles in real life, getting it out of the philosophy and out of the textbooks and into the reality of the everyday lives of people. And so people are choosing Florida more and more. And the last piece, obviously, was COVID-19, when you could compare what Florida was doing under the leadership of Governor DeSantis compared to Illinois, New York, California. There really was no comparison. So we've really hit our stride. Now the challenge is staying in that place and then growing to be better in the areas that we have to clean up, fix, adjust, and just get better at.
It's kind of neat to watch the left, sort of crumble on itself. So that's good. Although there still are groups that are very, very well financed that would like to turn Florida blue. Going to be hard to do that. A lot of people who want to turn Texas blue. In fact, every big city in Texas is now blue. Everyone. Doesn't matter which one you name. It could be from El Paso to San Antonio to Houston to Dallas. It doesn't matter. They're all very, very blue. And although the state's very red, is there that kind of push in Florida? Or are you resisting better than we are here?
No, we're actually on the right side. Miami-Dade has gone red. It continues to lean red. Palm Beach County going red. Jacksonville and Tampa, we got more work to do there as long as with Orlando. But if you look at the trajectory in our state, every county, frankly, is leaning towards the Republican conservative movement and away from the crazy movement of the Democrats. And I think that's also because the Democrat Party is just not even about just simply raising taxes and abortion. They've now gone even crazier than those two policy solutions, which really don't make a lot of sense. Right. Now they're into transgenderism. Now they're into men and women's sports. Now they're into supporting foreign wars to the detriment of the American Treasury and the future of our foreign policy. The platform of the Republican Party under the leadership of Donald Trump is one of common sense. It's one of putting the American people first. And it's one of just getting away from the woke craziness that the left now craves. That if you don't have the wokeness going on, they don't know how to function.
Right.
In today's world. I mean, look what they're doing to Elon Musk and Tesla. 4 years ago, Elon Musk was a scion of how to save the planet. Now they're running around keying Teslas and trying to blow up Tesla facilities. It's outrageous, but that just demonstrates the psychosis that's on the radical left.
It's funny because, well, not funny, but it's interesting that they're keying the cars of people that vote like them. I don't have a Tesla. I don't know if you do or not, but I bet most of the Teslas were bought by those who intend to vote for Kamala Harris and not for Donald Trump. So they're actually going after their own. And then you've got Bernie Sanders and AOC trying to come off as the moderates. You've got Gavin Newsom, who's doing a podcast acting like he doesn't want boys and men and girls and women's sports, which of course isn't true. He runs it like a radical out in California. Byron, are you seeing what I'm seeing? They're trying to act like they're moderates even though they're not?
Like, to be honest with you, I don't really know what the Democrats are doing. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
You got some who are trying to moderate. Bernie Sanders is still Bernie Sanders. Gavin Newsom is trying to find a pathway to be the Democrat nominee for president in 28, but he's going to get beat by whether it's JD or anybody else. He's going to get beat because he's a terrible governor, the worst in the country. They don't really know what to do. And so that's why their messaging is all over the place. They're mad at Chuck Schumer. They're mad at Hakeem Jeffries.
Right.
They're raising bingo paddles at the State of the Union, looking absolutely ridiculous. So our mission is get the president's agenda done, continue to accomplish the actual principles of the America First movement. And what's happening with DOGE is something that is critical to the fiscal future of America. We need to see it through and get that job done as well.
Yeah, Elon announced today that they found a terabyte of stuff that they tried to delete to cover their tracks, and he says they don't understand technology. We went and recovered it. I can't wait to find out what they found. It's Byron Donalds. Go to byrondonalds.com. He's running for governor of the great state of Florida. Right now, he's District 19 Republican, the great state of Florida. byrondonalds.com. Even if you don't live there, you can go and support his candidacy. And I want to get into that full-throated in a second. I've got to bring up your girl, Jasmine Crockett. Now, she's from Texas, allegedly. She's actually from St. Louis. She grew up a rich kid in private school, speaks like you and I do, yet for some reason she's taken on the Obama cadence in front of an audience, or the Harris cadence in front of a different audience. She's trying to act like she's somebody who came from, the streets of Dallas, I guess. She's not. She's from, again, a rich area of St. Louis. This is somebody who's race baiting and who's acting. That's what she's doing. And the other day she was on with this guy, Lenny, who calls himself the God or something. And she tells him that Byron Donalds isn't really black, or I guess you turn your back on the black community because you're married to a white woman or something. But Byron, what's going on? Is that psychosis? Is she acting? Is she just trying to make the money? What is she doing?
In my view, she's acting, or how we would say in the community, she's putting on a show. The truth of the matter is that the reason why Jasmine's out there doing all this is because she has newfound celebrity, I guess, on their side of the aisle, and so she's leaning into it. But here's what I'm going to say. First and foremost, don't talk about my wife. Keep my wife out of this. Ain't got nothing to do with her. You can talk to me about policy anytime you want to. Secondarily, there was a couple of times on the campaign trail last year where I know I was booked to be on stage or to be in debate with Jasmine, and all of a sudden her schedule changed. She had a conflict, whatever the case might be. So if she wants to do this, if she wants to have that debate, I'm easy to find. You ain't got to look hard for me. I'm 6'2". You can find me. It's pretty easy. Number three, and most importantly, this demonstrates, frankly, the racism in the Democrat Party, because they don't have a problem when Kamala Harris is married to a white man, or when Ketanji Brown Jackson's married to a white man, as long as they subscribe to the politics of the Democratic left. As long as you do that, everything is fine. But if you're a conservative, but your spouse happens to be white or of another race, then all of a sudden it's a problem. This is the racism that occurs in the Democrat Party. I'm sick of it, tired of the BS. I tell any one of them who have a concern about me and what they think my views are, debate me. And if you don't want to debate me, Google me. There's plenty of information out there, because I know that I have the facts. I have the information. I can back my stuff up. All they can do is throw out innuendos, throw out talking points. And the last thing I'll say about Ms. Crockett, and I'm going to leave it alone. Jasmine, I don't use talking points. Nobody tells me what to say. And so I know how to deliver a message because I have facts, I have logic, I use economics. I don't get into hyperbole. So if you are concerned about some of the things that I say find a show. It could be whatever show you want to. We'll sit there and do it. We'll have a good time along the way, and you'll go ahead and be defeated very quickly.
I appreciate you addressing that, because I just hate that she's given a platform. But at the same time, Byron, I like that she's given a platform, because I think she's hurting her party. I think she's hurting the left movement. I think she'll go by the wayside like Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, who could not get reelected because they were so far radical left. I do think she's worth $9 million, so she's making the bag that she wants. But at the same time, is she really doing anything for South Dallas? I don't think so. There's a guy I had on the other day, Shondon Daniels, who is running against her, and I hope wins. He's from there, and he's a guy who's much like you and me. He's a guy who leans right and does care about the community. So I hope that she's like one and done here. But we all saw that video a little while ago where she was a state rep. She didn't speak anything like she's speaking now. This entire thing is an act. It is Byron Donalds. Go right now to byrondonalds.com and go support his candidacy for governor of the great state of Florida. I promise to bring this up to any representative or any senator that I bring on. We were swatted at my house 3 weeks ago. We had 7 sheriff's deputies show up at 2:21 a.m. with their AR-15s out, ready to kill me in my doorway because of what I believe and what I say on my show. This has been dozens now, a couple of dozen people who are influencers on the right, like I am, and it's scary. Byron, it's scary. Is there any talk about legislation out of either the House or the Senate or something together, maybe working with the FBI and the CIA, whomever we have to do? These people are attempting to murder us by cop in our doorways, and it's domestic terrorism. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, this gets interesting. And first of all, sorry that happened to you and your family. I know it's happened to many others. It's just flat out wrong. Look, if you disagree with me, disagree with me. But let's just be perfectly honest. Don't send the police to my house if there's nothing to do there. All you're trying to do is cause havoc. And the truth is, Joe, you got people on the left who think this is funny until tragedy happens.
Right.
And then it's not funny. And then it becomes a serious thing. So I'm sorry this happened to you and to all of the other influencers and people on social media who they have a job to do. They have a mission that they're trying to push forward. And so for something like this to come to their doorstep is just flat out wrong. I think if you're going to talk about policy, this is much more, in my view, state policy than federal policy.
Yes.
Because a lot of the local law enforcement that's coming to those doors, those are either local sheriff's departments, local police departments, or if in the event that it's a state trooper. So this really is the purview of state government, not the federal government. If we're going to make sure that we have the proper separation of powers between state and federal authority. But these kind of activities, this swatting, this cannot be tolerated. And I think this is something that state level legislators and governors need to look at and bring criminal penalties for. Don't waste the time of law enforcement, but better yet, do not harass people, because really this is harassment. At its core, at the lowest level, it's harassment. On a higher level, it's something far more diabolical. So I think this is something that state legislatures and governors need to address and address soon.
It's something that they're doing. It's like the Tesla stuff. They're scratching Teslas. They're burning them down. They're spray painting the place. They're trying to scare people like you and me to shut up. We're not going to. We're very loud people. I'm 6'1", so you got me by about an inch, but we weigh about the same. We're both could play linebacker, I think. So, I mean, we're not scared. We're not going to back down. We've got loud voices. But somebody who's on the periphery, who maybe does a smaller show, or maybe isn't in, maybe they're in state legislature and not U.S. legislature, maybe they will shut up. Maybe they will be afraid. And I think that's what it is, Byron. They want to scare people, either kill us in our house, which didn't get done, obviously, have a cop do it, so now the cop is bad. But I think the overarching issue is, let's make them shut up about Ukraine, or shut up about boys and girls sports, or shut up about the border. It's not going to happen in my case, nor yours, but I think others might shut up. Isn't that the fear?
No, that's exactly right. It's just basically, this is soft terror, if there is a thing. That's what they're trying to do. They want to bring terror to people. They want them to be quiet. They don't want them to share their views. It's un-American activity. And look, I tell you, look, I'm running for governor. Everybody knows that now. In Florida, not going to tolerate that whatsoever. We're not going to have people be targeted because of their political views, period.
Is Byron Donalds. Go to ByronDonalds.com. Support his candidacy for governor of the great state of Florida. Let's talk about these races. District 1, which is Pensacola, I think that's going to be fine. It'll be closer than 30, but I think it's going to be fine. The one that we worry about is District 6, which is Randy Fine. I had him on yesterday. He's a great guy. He's a guy who I think can get the job done. You got the other guy as a radical that's supported by Bernie Sanders. But, Byron, they outspent him 10-1 in that race. How are we feeling about District 6 in Florida?
Look, I feel like we're going to win District 6. The biggest thing is Republicans got to get out and vote. Period. Full stop. Let's be clear. This guy, Josh Weil, the Democrat, is endorsed by Bernie Sanders. The squad loves him. Hakeem Jeffries wants him to join the House. Well, what does that say to the Republicans in District 6? What it means is that he would come here to undermine President Trump. Let's be very clear about this.
Right.
Randy Fine, I served with Randy when I went into the state house back in 2016. Before any congressional races or any TV ads or media or interviews or any of that stuff, I actually worked with Randy Fine in the state legislature. The man is a champion. The man is a conservative. He is unafraid. He will say what needs to be said at any given moment. You may not always agree with him, but he's a man who's going to stand by what he believes in, period. And what he definitely believes in is the agenda of Donald Trump and not the radical nature of the left. He does not believe in it, doesn't support it, stands firm against it every single day. So if you live in Congressional District 6, make sure you get out and vote for Randy Fine. Where we are right now, you got a choice. Randy Fine or a vote for the Democrats to undermine Donald Trump. Republicans, get out and vote. A couple more hours left. Get to the polls. Go vote.
Yeah, those who are in that district, if you vote for the other guy, you're voting for Bernie Sanders. That doesn't make any sense. It is Byron Donalds, District 19 Republican, great state of Florida. Wisconsin, quickly, if you don't mind. If we grab the Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin, you're talking about conservatism winning, people's franchise to go and vote will be protected, voter ID will be happening. What are your thoughts on that race?
It's a critical race. I mean, the Democrat judge is already talking about wanting to use the power to undo the congressional maps in Wisconsin. Why is that? Hakeem Jeffries just said the other day, they win that, they get an opportunity to redistrict Wisconsin. Why is that important? Because the Democrats do not care about the rule of law. They care about power and wielding power. So Republicans in Wisconsin, just like in Congressional District 6, I get it. Donald Trump is president. He's awesome, doing a phenomenal job as commander in chief. but he needs the support from everybody in our movement. You got to get out and vote. Don't worry about that. The motion center went off, so I know the lights changed on the screen. We pay the power bills here. But you got to get out and vote. That's what matters. You got to get out and vote in Wisconsin. A couple hours left to go at the polls there. Please make your voice heard. What I'm hearing is the momentum on the ground is behind us. We can win this seat on the Supreme Court in Wisconsin. This is a bellwether race in the country. People need to turn out and vote.
And you're talking about 2 congressional districts that could go from red to blue if this does go the wrong way. And right now, it's a statistical dead heat. ByronDonalds.com. Go there and support his candidacy. Before I let you go, you've got a special financial genius. I love how you took on Joy Reid once and you just made her look silly when you actually use real numbers, real facts. This is the kind of guy you are. How does that work well for somebody who wants to be the next governor, who I hope is the next governor of Florida? Does that expertise come in handy a lot?
Oh, 100% it does. I'll give you a couple of examples. Look, in Florida, we have an insurance crisis we have to fix. I spent 17 years in the financial industry. So being able to figure out exactly what are some of the incentive structures we need to build in to our insurance market to stabilize costs, that's going to be critical. You know, if you don't have a background in business, you're walking in there, you need aides to tell you what to do. You need aides to tell you what to think. That's not going to work. Number 2, transportation. We need to expand our transportation routes in Florida. We've been blessed with great leadership, and because of that, you have people who've moved to our states in droves. Well, now you got to expand road systems and figure out how to do that while being cost effective. Number 3, most importantly, I want Florida to be the financial capital of the world. We have every ability to do that, taking high finance from New York and from Chicago because their governments are awful. They suck. And so people want to leave. Give them a home in Florida. You can have finance in Florida while maintaining conservative values. Last but not least, education. It's about the trajectory of kids to be exceptional in their careers, in the businesses they choose to start, or if they choose to lead our nation and our governments into the future. Before you have them take the keys of power, you got to make sure they're highly educated, not educated, highly educated. And so that's going to be the vision I have for the future of Florida. So to answer your question, does a financial background help somebody achieve that? 100% it does, because I don't have to wait for lobbyists and staffers to tell me what needs to occur. I know it because I've worked in the real world. I have a business background, and I know the type of incentive structures and policies need to be in our government to take Florida to the next level.
I love it, Byron. Thanks so much for making time today. Go to ByronDonalds.com, support his candidacy. We're going to do everything we can on this end to get you in there in that job. We just love that you're running for it. We love what you do in the Congress, too. We're going to miss you there, but you're going to be a great governor. Go to ByronDonalds.com. Do it right now. Byron, thanks a million for coming on today.
Anytime. Thanks, Joe. Take it easy.
Talk to you very soon. We're back after this. Stay right here.